Okay, so for this video, we're going to talk about powers and product rules with positive exponents, and basically the rules that we're doing with exponents for now. So if we have an exponent attached to parentheses, that means that I could write that set of parentheses the number of times that the exponent is, because exponents are telling you how many times you're going to be what it's attached to, multiply it by itself. Now we can also, so I could rewrite this first parenthesis as, my whole problem could get flattened to be -3 x to the third y, and then another one of them because it's got an exponent of 2 outside there. So that's a -3 x to the cubed y. And then I still have that extra parenthesis, which is the x squared, y squared, z squared. And then I can multiply them all together by remembering you can multiply the coefficients together. And then you can count up the exponents for everything else. So as I'm multiplying terms that have similar bases, I get to add their exponents. So if I wrote it like this, I would have a -3 times -3, which is 9. And then I have x's, and there's 3, another 3, which is 6, and another 2, which is 8. So there's x to the 8. And then the y's, there's 1 here and 2, because there's no exponent, so it's a 1. So y, there's 2 y's, another 2 here, so y to the 4th. And then I look in the last parenthesis and I see that there is a z that I haven't taken into account yet. So, and it's going to be z to the 2nd. So writing out the parentheses and then combining all of the stuff, it's a fair way to do it. If you have binomials in that parentheses with an exponent, you have to write it out that many times and then FOIL things out. When we're talking monomials, there's other ways to do it, and we'll do that with the next problem once I have this typed in. Okay, so first way we can do that. So we've got 9 x to the 8th, y to the 4th, z squared. And just be careful that you're using the right numbers and that you have typed everything correctly. Okay, so the next one, instead of writing it out, all right, I am going to erase my stuff. So instead of writing it out, this time I am going to take my exponent that is attached to those parentheses, and just like if it was a coefficient to multiply or a product times it, I'm going to multiply this exponent to everything inside the parentheses. So you can take the coefficient and keep it in parentheses and think that I'm going to have that 3 of those. So it's going to be a -2, all of that to the third. And then I'm going to multiply all of my other exponents to that 3. So it'll be x to the 2 times 3, which is 6. Y to the 3 times 3, which is 9, not 3. Z is to the 3 times 3, which is 9 as well. And then I have the other set of parentheses that I have to deal with, which is a -2. That is going to get this 3. So this is really not a great example. And so is that z going to get that 3? I forgot this arrow here. And then z to the 3rd. And then combine all the stuff. So simplify all of those exponents. 2 to the 3rd is 8. And it's a -8 because it's -2 times -2 times -2. X to the 6th, y to the 9th, z to the 9th. This is really not a great example. And then I still have an 8 and a z to the 3rd. So my final answer is going to be, that was a -8 as well, because it was a -2 times -2 times -2, which is -8. So this is going to be a -8 times a -8 is 64. X to the 6th, y to the 9th, z to the 9 plus 3 is z to the 12th. We're going to type that in. And then we're going to get another one, and we're going to hope it's a better example. All right. Yeah. Okay, next one. All right, this is slightly better. not great. I think I actually want to, I'm going to go to the explanation, which will give me one extra problem. All right, so they do it with the distributing it, but they don't show the arrows. Still not a good one, but we'll do this one, and we're going to have to get one more because with the explanation, I lost my bonus. All right, so I'm going to distribute my 4 to all of these exponents. Okay, so it's going to be 2 to the 4th, x to the 2 times 4, which is 8, y to the 4 times 4, which is 16, z to the 3 times 4, which is 12. That's the first group. And the second group just has a 2xz squared. So 2 to the 4th, if I want to think about that, that is 16. 16 times 2 is 32. And then I'm going to count up my x's. I just didn't want to write all of it out again. So 8, there's 8 here and one more. So there's x to the 9th. Y, there's only this y to the 16th. And z to the 12 plus 2 more is 14. All right. We have 32. I think it takes longer to type it than to write out the word. One last one, and I'm still hoping that Alex will give me a good example. All right, so this is actually a pretty good one. So it's got the 2 parentheses, so we're looking at that. We've got an exponent of 4 to distribute here. Now, this is a negative sign. It's really a -1, but that's getting that 4th as well. And so is that exponent and the y and the z. So this is going to be -1 to the 4th, x to the 2 times 4, which is 8, y to the 1 times 4, which is 4, z to the 3 times 4 is 12. So that's that first one. And then the second one is going to have that 3 is going to the 2 and to the z to the 4th. So 2 to the 3rd and z to the 12th. All right, so -1 to the 4th is -1 times -1, which is +1, times -1, which is -1, times +1, which is 1. So this is just a 1. And then we have the x, there is 8 of them. Y to the 4th, z to the 12th. Now, 2 to the 3rd, this is 8. And then we have the z to the 12th. So 1 times 8 is 8. X to the 8th, y to the 4th, z to the 12 plus 12 is 24. All right, so doing a little extra ones with it because the negative signs can cause problems with that first coefficient. Do not forget to distribute to that coefficient. That is the common mistake that people will make. So hopefully you won't make that and you will get through all of these topics and some extras so that you can get ahead. All right.